have really thick skin. They are really, really bold about their moves because they are saying, okay, I'm doing this despite all the stuff out there. Come and touch me. Catch me if you can. And there's no one out there for us to go and ask to catch these guys.
All right, now, Luke Reed, we're sitting here talking about this guy Grossman as though he's been convicted at Guantanamo or something, and he has, for the record, told the Times that he doesn't know what in the hell this lady's talking about. Why don't you explain what it is that you believe Mark Grossman has done in violation of the law or even basic morality, however you want to see it?
Mark Grossman was prior to being at the number 3 guy at the State Department, he was also the ambassador to Turkey. Now, Turkey is a big player in the issues that Sibel's talking about, the nuclear black market and the narcotics industry. Grossman's been involved with this for a long time. And in fact, when he was the ambassador in Turkey, Sibel just mentioned Major Douglas Dickerson was there working with Grossman way back then in the late 90s.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, these guys have been hanging around together for a long time, working on the same sorts of deals. And the Times report, as you say, Grossman denied any wrongdoing, but it outlined a number of crimes, including, his participation in this nuclear black market, including at one point Brewster Jennings, the cover company that Valerie Plame used. They were investigating some of the people that Sibel's case touches on, including the American-Turkish Council.
What makes you say that Brewster Jennings and Associates was investigating the American-Turkish Council?
I think that's just fact at this time. Valerie Plame, in fact, met Joe Wilson there at the American-Turkish Council. The point is that, the Turks have had a long-term involvement in the nuclear black market, so Brewster Jennings, should have been investigating the Turks, and the Turkish headquarters in the U.S. is basically the American-Turkish Council, so it would be, silly if they weren't investigating the American-Turkish Council. But when Brewster Jennings was there, investigating them, Grossman told his Turkish and other friends to stay away from Brewster Jennings and warned them that they were a CIA cover company. So that's one of the crimes that he was involved in. Mm-hmm. Another of the crimes mentioned in the Times report relates to just after September 11, 2001, when there was a big roundup of certain suspected participants in that event, and some of Grossman's Turkish friends said, "Hey, we have to get these 4 people out of jail because we can't afford for them to spill the beans." So Grossman got on the phone to whoever, and those 4 people were subsequently released. And this comes back to what Sibel was talking about. When you have these, even if they are legitimate covert activities, they create so much black market for all of these things, all of this sort of nefarious behaviour that enables, their unholy alliances that enable people to get away with just about anything.
If we just take it for granted that the CIA are on the side of the angels and all that they would ever mean to do would be to check this sort of black market proliferation, then still it seems like they're having a lot of trouble in reining in participants even inside the United States of America and this kind of thing. Is it just because of the amounts of money involved?
So let me just add another of Grossman's crimes that Sibel uncovered. The Turkish and other interests who were working with the black market were desperate to get moles inside nuclear labs in the U.S. So they went to Grossman and made sure that he got, he ensured that they got the appropriate visas and an appropriate placement. So this criminal network was placing spies in just about every nuclear facility and every other agency involved with nuclear technology in the United States. So Grossman was placing these people in all these installations for the criminal network so that they could then, report back on what they found. So, it's pretty widespread. And this is all happening under the nose of the FBI. And Sibel has, often pointed out that there was this big counterintelligence operation that went back at least from 1996 that began, and the the counterintelligence officers at the FBI were pulling their hair out because they wanted to pursue these crimes, but they kept getting pushback from the CIA, from the Pentagon and the State Department telling them that no, they weren't allowed to act on any of this information.
No.
Sibel's been trying to get her case heard in Congress, and all of these all of these counterintelligence people who were working on the Turkish program, would be happy to come and testify under oath to all of these crimes that they are aware of.
Well, didn't Congressman Waxman promise that he would hold hearings, Luke?
He did promise, and he hasn't done a thing since.
Let's talk
we had high hopes when the...
Go ahead, Sibel.
Yeah, let's talk about that because this is another important issue. And it's not only with my case, but in the cases of many, many whistleblowers who are the members of my organization, National Security Whistleblowers Coalition. And that is, we were very, very anxious to have this majority change within the Congress. And because for years, when we went to these offices, whether it was Congressman Conyers or Waxman, we were given only one excuse and one justification, and that was we want to have hearings, we want to have accountability, and the big bad Republicans are preventing it because they have the majority, and they are not letting us do it. So for years, we were under this assumption, and we were celebrating in November, and that, when I say we, our members, we have libertarians, we have Republicans, we have Democrats, and we have people like me who basically, they just say we're Americans. And guess what? Once that changed, that majority changed, both in the Senate and in the House, these people who have this ongoing relationship with us, they used to have meetings for our members, for whistleblowers. I went inside the secured, compartmentalized facility and had 2-3 sessions with just Congressman Waxman's office before their office, before he became the chairman. Now, after the elections, after they took over, they just went completely silent. In fact, they became antagonistic. They said, we don't want to talk with these whistleblowers, and because we have a very, very busy schedule. And we said, well, what happened to all those promises you made? That if we were to be the majority, we would be doing this. And in fact, one of the promises was one of the first hearings that we are going to have is going to be, in this case, state secrets privilege, and you're going to testify.
There we go.
Hello, Congressman. As you know, Sibel Edmonds has information related to foreknowledge of 9/11 and also about congressional corruption.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, Sibel Edmonds has information related to foreknowledge of 9/11 and also about congressional corruption.
Mm-hmm.
And this year in March, you were given a petition with over 15,000 signatures requesting that you hold public hearings in the Sibel Edmonds FBI whistleblower case. And to date, your silence has been deafening. Do you intend to hold those hearings? And if so, when do you intend to hold them?
And I have no intentions at the moment to hold hearings on them.
Boo.
With this issue and the Sibel Edmonds issue, how can you be spending time, a moment, on steroids in baseball when we have actual issues going on that need to be addressed by someone with backbone and spine on our behalf? And if you don't serve our interests, sir, whose interest do you serve?
I think there are a lot of issues that are important. And I think the fact that kids are taking steroids and suffering from the consequences of taking steroids because they see their heroes in sports using it. And they're given the following message: go ahead and use a drug that can hurt you, maybe even lead to your death. Go ahead and cheat, because cheating is okay to do. Those are the kinds of messages that I think a lot of our kids have.
Congressman Waxman, I would like to say thank you very much for supporting all of our women's rights. You have been a champion, but there's one woman that you are not supporting. Her name is Sibel Edmonds. Let her speak, under oath, in front of an open session to the American people.
No, I heard your view.
And his office, along with other Democratic offices, they just stopped even taking calls from us. And the change was absolutely amazing. And obviously, this is not the case only with the whistleblowers, because just take a look at the approval rate for Congress today, okay? It's much lower than the confidence in the administration, because what you have is plunging. It's like in 17, 18%. This means, obviously, the American people, You know, they're not happy with the Congress. All the promises that they gave, none of them were fulfilled.